Hello YouTube, it's been a while. So I recorded this werewolf look a couple years ago and now I am deciding to do a tutorial about it. So I hope you guys enjoy. Let me know what you guys think. Starting with a fresh face already moisturized and primed, I am going in with this foundation and putting it all over my face. Going into this Sigma flat kabuki brush, I am going to blend the foundation into my skin using dabbing motion so I can get that nice full coverage. Next, I am going to take this concealer and highlight the high points of my face, which is underneath the eyes, the nose, a little bit of the forehead, the cupid's bow, and my chin. And again, dabbing it with the flat kabuki brush to blend it in. To set my foundation, I'm going to use this Makeup Forever setting powder on a flat puff and put it underneath my eyes and cut my chin and leaving that space between so I can make a nice contour. For contouring, I'm going to use this Anastasia contour kit. I'm going to take the darkest color here and on a crown brush, I am going to use it to place it in the hollows of my cheeks, around my forehead, and to contour my chin as well because I want that sharp jaw shape. Using Benefit's Ka-Brow, and I got a sample here, I'm going to take the darkest color and using the little brush, I am going to sketch out the eyebrows. For the eyebrows, I want it to be sharp and point up and not really have an angle. So I'm going to sketch it out and then fill them in. Once I fill them in, I did make strokes around the eyebrows to make it more bushy. Now I'm just cleaning up the eyebrows and concealing the ends of my eyebrows. I didn't decide to block them out with glue stick or anything, I just left it and I'm just cleaning it up. After I clean it up, I am going to set it, make sure the concealer isn't moving by using a powder puff and that translucent powder. For eyeshadow, I am taking Lula from the Mario Anastasia palette on the brush that it comes with, taking the fluffy end and putting it into the crease of my eye and blending it out. Once I have that blended out, I'm taking the other end of the brush and I'm taking the same color and I'm going to wing it out to make it a cat eye look. Flipping the brush again, I am taking the fluffy end with the same color and putting it down the sides of my nose to contour it. I'm also making sure that it's connecting to the inner corners of the eyeshadow. Going in with Violetta and an angled brush, I am going to start the cut crease. I am holding the brush downward so I don't get a lot of fallout onto the lid. I'm also going to take it and extend it outwards. Now I'm taking a clean pencil brush and the one I'm using is from Sigma and I'm going to blend the cut crease into the shadow crease. Getting up close and personal with Mira-chan here, I am taking a concealer brush with some concealer and slowly carving out the cut crease and making sure it is nice and sharp. Going in with Sigma's firm shader brush and taking Fifth Avenue, I am going to make sure I pack that shadow in onto the concealer, making sure I get maximum color payout. Taking a liquid liner, and I'm not sure what I'm using here since it's been a while and I don't have this pen anymore, but I believe I got it in an Ipsy bag. I'm just going to take it and line my eyes and make sure I wing it out and then fill in the spaces in between. For this part, you're definitely going to need a liquid liner. It makes it so much easier to extend the inner corner to make it a fierce look. And then I'm going to take it and also connect it to my wing liner. Repeating the same thing on the other side, and you can see here I am putting it a little bit lower than my natural lash line to make it look like my eyes are a lot bigger. Then using the same brown eyeshadow I was using earlier on a pencil brush, I'm going to smoke the eyelash line out. After the translucent powder had time to bake, I am taking a giant fluffy brush and I'm just going to brush all the powder away. I am going now with Real Techniques blush brush and going in with the darkest shade of the contour and deepening all the contours that I've done. Making sure to deepen the cheekbones, the forehead, and my chin. With a large shader brush, and I like this brush because it's nice and flat, I'm going to sharpen the contours on my nose and make sure it's blending into my brows. And then I'm going to take the color and concentrate it on the tip of my nose, giving me that werewolf type nose. Taking a smaller setting brush from Real Techniques, I'm taking Violetta and I'm going to place it closer to my hairline to deepen the color and make it more brown and more sharp. And you can see here my cheekbone looks even more cut. I know I already have a widow's peak, but I want to make this a little bit larger so that way it is definitely visible and more exaggerated for photos. And I'm taking a pencil brush with a dark brown eyeshadow and making sure I am blending it into my hairline. Taking Sugar Pills Goldilocks and a setting spray, I'm going to spray a pencil brush, and this helps the pigment to stick onto the face a little bit better and it helps the color to be more brilliant. And I'm putting it in the inner corner of my eyes. I am going to line my waterline with NYX Jumbo Pencil in Milk, and this helps my eyes to look a lot bigger. Taking Hollywood, I'm going to set the liner, and this helps it so that way it'll be budge proof and it will last a lot longer. For the lips, I'm taking Colored Rain in Soul, and I'm sure you guys know how to put on lips. I didn't really do anything special here. Going in with Ofra Cosmetics highlighter in Beverly Hills, I'm going to use the bronzy color here, and I'm going to highlight the Cupid's bow, the tip of my nose, a little bit on the forehead, and definitely the cheekbones to make those pop out and make sure it's nice and blended. On to the fun part. Here I'm showing you Prose Aid, but you shouldn't be using Prose Aid, so we're just gonna call it Latex. So I'm taking the latex on a sponge and I'm gonna place it on my neck and my chest where I want the gashes to be. Splitting toilet paper in half so that way you have a nice thin sheet. I am going to place it on where I want the gashes to be and then place another layer of latex on top. You want to keep repeating putting latex and toilet paper until you get a nice thickness that you would like, so that way you can start carving the skin gashes. Once you have all the layers down, you do want it to dry. Here I'm just using my hand to fan it, but you would probably want to use a blow dryer for a faster drying process. So it'll be sticky still after it dries. You want to take some translucent powder and powder it all over. Now to cover, I am going to use a darker foundation that I have because the white is still showing and it's going to look a lot lighter if you have the same color foundation. And I'm just going to place it all over. You're going to want to also set this foundation as well so that way it doesn't transfer and is nice and dry. Now, being really careful, I am taking tweezers and I'm starting to pick the toilet paper and latex apart so that way I can carve out gashes and make sure there's some skin hanging off. And then I decided to do about 4 gashes, but you can do as many or as little as you like. Next, I am taking Mayron's cream paint in red and a small lip liner brush, and I'm painting the inside of the gashes to make it look like flesh. Now going with a black cream paint, I'm using Makeup Forever's Flash palette. You don't have to use the same products I'm using, these are just what I have on hand. And I'm taking it to color the inside of the gashes around where the wound starts to give it a little bit more depth and like the skin is actually coming off. Now for blood, I am taking the makeup sponge and I'm just ripping off pieces of it on the end to give it grooves and holes for a little bit of texture. Dipping it into the red cream paint and then placing it all over the gashes, randomly making it look like splatters. Now I'm taking this blood gel that I have here that I believe I got off of Amazon, but I'm sure Spirit Halloween has a bunch. Scab blood works as well. And I'm just taking it on that small little skinny brush that I used earlier and just making sure that I make it drip onto my skin like I'm bleeding. And then some on my lips like I bit somebody after I turned into a werewolf. And that's pretty much for the whole video. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you guys like it. It took me a couple of years to edit. Definitely some of the products here I don't use anymore. Some I still do, but you don't have to use the same things. And thank you again for watching, and I'll see you guys maybe next year. Bye!